From Southern Colorado's high-definition news leader, this is News Channel 13, where the news comes first.
And you're trying to silence the truth.
Were there more outbursts, or was it a quiet day in court as accused Planned Parenthood shooter goes before a judge? Details on Robert Deere's latest hearing.
It's not a quiet day in the Weather Center. We got some flakes falling and more on the way. I've got the latest on whether you can expect snow in your neighborhood coming up.
He's just loving this role in transition.
President-elect Donald Trump sticking to Twitter, but his top advisor, Kellyanne Conway, continues to talk about building his cabinet. The latest on the transition. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm John Carroll.
And I'm Dana Clemens. You're watching KRDO News Channel 13 at noon. We're also live on the air on KRDO News Radio. The big story we're monitoring this afternoon, Robert Deere's day in court.
A judge once again ruled Deere is incompetent to stand trial. KRDO News Channel 13's Angelica Lombardi was in the courtroom and joins us now live with what happens next. Good afternoon, Angelica.
Good afternoon, John and Dana. Judge Gilbert Martinez was quick to announce his decision that Deere is incompetent to stand trial. That is based upon reports by the state hospital in Pueblo. So now the waiting continues. Cameras were not allowed in the courtroom today, but we do have some sketches. And as you can see, Deere looks noticeably thinner over the past few appearances. Upon entering the room, Deere shouted, quote, 4,000 babies are murdered a day by Planned Parenthood. Also at the hearing, Judge Martinez denied the defense's request to put a gag order on Deere speaking with the media. Deere then shouted, quote, they already don't let me communicate in the hospital. Deere will remain at the state hospital in Pueblo and continue to be reevaluated every 90 days until he's found competent. Both Judge Martinez and District Attorney Dan May noted that this case could drag on for years or never go to trial.
My experience in these cases, I've been doing this for well over 30 years, is that these type cases take 3 to 5 years to get to trial. And so I did state that on the record today that that's what we anticipated, that we don't see that this case is off of that calendar. It's something, quite frankly, we've been telling victims and witnesses, at least that I've come into contact since the beginning. That's sort of what the norm you see across the state.
Civil attorneys in this case were also present in court, once again asking the judge for discovery to move their case forward. Judge Martinez worries, though, that that would hurt the criminal case if that goes to trial. I'll explain more what's happening with the civil case on this side coming up at 12:30. We'll go into more explanation. Deere's new hearing, his new evaluation hearing, has been set for February 15th. Live from the El Paso County Courthouse, Angelica Lombardi, KRDO News Channel 13.
Angelica, thank you. And we want to take a moment now to remember those killed in last November's attack. They are UCCS Officer Garrett Swayze, Kier Stewart, and Jennifer Markovsky. You can read more on the Planned Parenthood shooting and the Robert Deere case on our website. Just visit krdo.com.
Our other top story today, the weather. Temperatures are finally feeling much more like fall, and it's chillier than what we've been seeing lately.
A light snow is starting to fall in some areas. This is a live look at I-25 in Monument where you can see the flakes falling. Looks like they're not sticking just yet, just leading to some wet roads right now.
And we can show you the Eisenhower Tunnel. Definitely a different story. The snow is piling up. I-70 is closed near Vail Pass, and we are looking in both directions here. Plenty of snow on either side of the pass. Storm Tracker 13's Mike Everett is tracking the chilly changes coming in and joins us now with the latest from the Storm Tracker 13 Weather Center. Good afternoon, Mike.
It is a good afternoon indeed if you are a fan of fall or winter weather. Here's another live look right now. This is when I'm really excited about our Neighborhood Weather Network cameras. Here's our People's Bank camera, and you can actually see flakes falling there as we point that towards I-25, 31 degrees. And look, it's even kind of starting to accumulate on the tree, but as we were seeing there on the CDOT cameras, looking good on the road so far. But there could be some commute issues tonight. We'll talk about that. Here's another look from Monarch Pass up near Highway 50. To the best of my understanding, chain laws are in effect in certain parts there. So if you do have some travel plans up there, you definitely want to be prepared for that. Here's another look from Wilkerson Pass. This is along Highway 24. Gorgeous there, but so far no snow falling and temperatures just slightly above freezing. And why not? One more. Winter Park Resort. The resorts are going to score. And again, a lot of them struggling to get open in time for Thanksgiving. This will definitely definitely be a big shot in the arm. Right now, here's our Neighborhood Weather Network camera courtesy of our friends at Phil Long, and I've got it pointed towards the south here, seeing lots of high cloud cover and 36 degrees. We've even seen some flakes falling here at the studio, so it's on. 44 is our big number up at the airport right now, 49 in Pueblo, 43 Canyon City, 20s and 30s in the high country, and still holding on to some 50s out towards the plains. We've got those winds now coming in from the east. Those will shift around to the north and northwest later today and could pick up in a big kind of way, which leads to our next story here. Red flag warnings, believe it or not, are still in effect until 6 p.m. for a lot of our south and southeastern counties tonight, including Pueblo, and then high wind warnings until 6 p.m. As you saw earlier there, we've got some gusts already. Some of these could get up to 45 miles an hour, and you're going to stay dry, so this could create some conditions where you've got some blowing dust, especially along Highway 160. I've got the latest on where the snow is, where it's going, and whether or not it's coming to you coming up in my full forecast. John and Dana, back to you.
Mike, thanks. And happening right now on I-25 near Motor City, traffic is backing up. Crews are working on the guardrails along the interstate in the southbound lanes just south of Cimarron. This is a live look right now of the slowdown. Just give yourself a little extra time as you head out this afternoon.
New at noon, traffic is getting back to normal after a train was forced to come to a screeching halt when a car went across the tracks in Security Widefield. El Paso County Sheriff's deputies tell us they were following suspects in a possibly stolen car this morning. Deputies say the suspects took off, led them on a brief chase, and then went over the rails. The crossing at Main Street and Highway 8587 was blocked for about 20 minutes as crews made sure the tracks were safe for the train to pass. So far, no word on the suspects or charges.
And road crews were staying busy after parts of 8th Street near Motor City were closed down. A car hit a fire hydrant, and that sent water streaming into the streets. That hazard was fixed in about a half an hour.
President-elect Donald Trump continues to hold high-powered meetings today from Trump Tower, while his number 2, Mike Pence, makes the rounds in Washington. His transition team says everything is going smoothly. Meanwhile, we hear from his former rival Hillary Clinton for the first time publicly since her concession speech. ABC's Maggie Woolley is in Washington with the details.
Another busy day for Team Trump. VP-elect Mike Pence stops by the Hill.
We're excited about moving the Trump agenda forward.
As President-elect Donald Trump remains inside Trump Tower, hosting more meetings with cabinet contenders and personally greets his first foreign leader, Prime Minister Abe of Japan. Trump tweeting that his transition team is doing a fantastic job, but sources tell ABC News the transition is full of internal fighting and disarray. One potential problem for Team Trump, Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law. Reports have the family member taking a formal role in the White House. The legality of the move has been questioned by ethics chiefs for both President Obama and former President Bush. This morning, Trump aide Kellyanne Conway denies those reports, but does say that Kushner will remain involved.
Jared was incredibly important to our campaign effort and to the election, and he's a trusted advisor of his father-in-law. That won't change.
The other big headache, Trump's choice of Stephen Bannon as White House counselor, the former head of Breitbart News with ties to the alt-right and white nationalists.
A president of the United States should not have a racist at his side. Unacceptable.
As Trump vets his future cabinet in New York City, Hillary Clinton returns to the public stage.
I will admit, coming here tonight wasn't the easiest thing for me.
She speaks to her supporters, thousands who are still protesting the election across the country, and tells them not to be discouraged.
Stay engaged. Stay engaged on every level. We need you. America needs you.
Clinton's lead in the popular vote continues to grow. She's now up by more than 1 million and is on track to receive the second most votes of any presidential candidate in U.S. history, behind only President Obama. Maggie Woolley, ABC News, Washington.
Director of National Intelligence James Clapper is calling it quits. Clapper says he submitted a letter of resignation to the House Select Committee on Intelligence last night. It's the first of many resignations expected in the transition from President Obama's administration to President-elect Donald Trump's. Today, Clapper told the committee that it felt pretty good to resign. Clapper is not leaving immediately, though. He has 64 days left. And happening now, President Obama is holding talks with Angela Merkel on a last visit to Germany before he hands over to his successor. Obama and Merkel say with the world economy developing faster than ever, cooperation between nations is vital. Obama is meeting other European leaders before he leaves Berlin.
As the Democrats try to figure out what's next, there is one name you won't see on the ballot in 2020, Virginia Senator Tim Kaine. In an interview with the Associated Press today, Clinton's former running mate says he will absolutely not be running for president and will instead focus his efforts in Congress.
Looking ahead this afternoon, more than 200 Fort Carson soldiers from the 1st Battalion, 2nd Infantry Brigade Combat Team will be coming home. The soldiers were deployed to Kosovo. The Mountain Post is planning a homecoming ceremony at 1 this afternoon at the William Reed Special Events Center. And we will, of course, let you know if that time changes. If the recipe calls for cheese, listen up. There's a recall you need to know about. We'll tell you what's causing the concern.
Pepsi is facing a boycott over something that never even happened. Find out how it relates to the presidential campaign.
And do you remember your first set of wheels? Learn how this blast from the past could be yours.
And here's a look at Woodland Park, from our Peak Internet Neighborhood Weather Network camera. And, well, you can't see Woodland Park right now because, well, there's some weather moving in. We're going to talk about that coming up. You betcha.
Welcome back to KRDO News Channel 13 at noon and let it snow. A live look now in Woodland Park from our Greater Woodland Park Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center Neighborhood Weather Network camera showing those flakes are sticking, starting to feel and look more like fall turning into winter. Thanks for joining us.
Topping our economy tracker this afternoon, taking a live look. Wall Street, the Dow up more than 2 points right now. NASDAQ is up 30. The S&P 500 is up 8. We have a safety alert to tell you about. Kitty Nighthawk is recalling more than 3 million combo smoke and carbon monoxide alarms due to a possible alarm failure. The Consumer Product Safety Commission reports the alarm can fail to chirp once it reaches its end of life if the batteries are not replaced. This could lead you to think the alarm is still working when it's not. This recall involves the Nighthawk combination smoke carbon monoxide alarms manufactured between June 1st, 2004 and December 31st, 2010. You can find the model number and manufacture date on the back of the alarm. Fears over possible salmonella contamination have prompted 4C Foods Corporation to issue a nationwide recall for some of its grated Parmesan, Romano, and imported Italian Pecorino Romano cheeses. The recall was issued yesterday after lab tests of an unspecified cheese product revealed possible salmonella contamination. According to the company, the recall is precautionary. No illnesses have been reported. The products were sold nationwide, and a full list with UPC codes can be found on the 4C Foods website. And for that link, head to our website, krdo.com.
Some Donald Trump supporters are angry with Pepsi over something that never even happened. They're threatening now to boycott Pepsi over fabricated statements circulating on social media. Twitter users, many citing debunked news articles, claim Pepsi CEO Indra Nooyi told Trump fans to, quote, take their business elsewhere. Sites designed to trick people, including Truth Feed and Gateway Pundit, published this fake quote. The CEO never told Trump supporters Pepsi doesn't want their business, and she even congratulated the president-elect on his victory. Drivers in the United Kingdom might be excused for doing a little bit of rubbernecking when they see this adult-sized Little Tikes cozy coupe on the road. The cozy coupe is the famed red and yellow plastic vehicle toddlers use to motor around kitchens and driveways. The adult version is apparently street legal and goes up to 70 miles per hour.
Wow! Two brothers created the mini Tyke with the intention of raising money for charity. The car is available for $32,000, and that looks like it would be a lot of fun to drive.
I love how it's a little shinier than the original, too. It's nice.
Oh, those little old ones, they take a beating.
They do. A local military installation is celebrating the end of a major project. Find out how it will protect nearby residents.
And in addition to destroying thousands of acres, a slew of wildfires is causing breathing problems for many in the southeast.
And while it's exciting to see some of the first flakes of the season coming down, that could have some implications for your travel plans tonight. I've got all the latest on that coming up. Speaking of flakes, here's Storm Tracker 13's Mike Everett.
He needs Head and Shoulders.
Welcome back to KRDO News Channel 13 at noon. Those of you wishing for snow, it's finally here. This is I-25 and County Line Road north of Colorado Springs. You see the snow coming down and visibility looks like it might be a little low as well over the Palmer Divide. Storm Tracker 13's Mike Everett is here now with more on what we can expect for the rest of the afternoon. Hi, Mike.
Hey, it's an interesting day outside. I got another live look for you, courtesy of our Neighborhood Weather Network camera, still in Woodland Park. This is our Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center camera, and what you're seeing is kind of those pre-season flakes like we see early in the season and late in the season. So they're big, they're wet, and thankfully for now they're not sticking, but man, they're beautiful. But this could cause some traffic issues as we go into the later hours today. So we were talking about this going going into this storm. Big winds today, especially down towards the south. I'll show you that forecast in a moment. But for commuters heading home, especially in Teller County and along the Palmer Divide, we are looking at the possibility of some of that wind mixing with that snow and creating some blowing snow conditions. Here's your live HD Doppler radar right now. You've got the red and the white out towards the west there, indicating we've got those winter storm watches and warnings in effect. And right now, this is what we're seeing basically moving up to the northeast, and you can kind of see where that rain snow line is there. Even in Pueblo County right now, a little bit of activity happening there. For the most part, we're expecting some changes. So just follow me as we go through this. Putting Skyscan into motion here. Again, this system has dropped a little bit further north, so the latest model runs actually now have some places getting involved that weren't getting involved earlier. And again, the upper mountains, the resorts, doing very, very well from this. Putting this into motion, we basically got these two lows here that will continue to move through and give us this 1-2 punch and bring us some really cool air behind it. We'll talk about that in a moment, but the big question is who gets the snow and when? Well, putting Snow Tracker into motion here, again, along the Palmer Divide and northern parts of El Paso County. Again, we're expecting about maybe 1 to 2 inches to accumulate. Some of the models that I've seen have the Palmer Divide getting up to 4 inches in some spots. And then down towards the south, we're not really expecting much in the way of snow, but the latest model runs has a couple interesting developments. First of all, high wind warning in effect all the way through the southern part of our viewing area. And these gusts could get up to 45 miles an hour. And because you're going to stay dry, you will see a lot of blowing dust. So do be very careful if you're traveling, especially out towards Los Animas and Baca counties. In fact, wind will be one of the big considerations today. And then in some spots, especially in the upper elevations, we will see ice. Putting Skycast into motion here, again, northern El Paso County, Palmer Divide, and parts of Teller County, we'll see that move through. But here's the new developments. As we go through the later hours tonight, one band of that does want to break off and come down towards the southeast. So down towards Baca County, you could become active around 10 o'clock tonight. We're going to continue to keep an eye on that throughout the afternoon. Once this moves through, it'll be cold on Friday, but it will be clear. We'll see a return of the sunshine going into Friday and Saturday as well. Overnight lows getting into the 20s and teens in a lot of spots tonight. 20s out towards the plains, single digits up in the high country, and that's just the beginning. As we go into Friday, 39 is our high temperature. Again, we'll see a return of the sunshine, but it's not until Saturday that we make a big rebound back into the 50s, but overnight temps will be in the teens. And then look at that, by Sunday, like it never happened, back into the 60s again, overnight lows just above freezing, tracking another system that brings us potential for more showers Monday into Tuesday, and those overnight lows will dip below freezing again. 44 is your number on Friday in Pueblo, and again, 13 overnight Friday into Saturday. It's been a while, so do be prepared for that. Another chance for showers coming in on Tuesday. Canyon City, you're looking at 46 for your high on Friday, 20 overnight Friday into Saturday, but again, by Sunday, like it never happened, 66 will be your high again. Teller County, 33 on Friday, 11 overnight Friday into Saturday. Yeah, that's a real number. I double-checked that one. And another chance for a rain-snow mix moving in on Tuesday as well. So, you know, we had talked about this before. Sometimes the atmosphere just needs to be primed a little bit. And I think this is the system that's going to prime us a little bit and kind of put us into more of a mode where we'll see fall and even winter-like weather going forward. So,
okay,
here we go.
That's what a lot of people have wanted to see. Thanks, Mike.
Sure.
3 years after a landslide destroyed homes and buildings in the Cheyenne Mountain area in Colorado Springs, a major project is complete. Cheyenne Mountain Air Force Station held a ceremony to mark the end of the $13 million project yesterday. Workers made repairs to the retention area and added a new drainage channel. A new security perimeter was also added to prevent a tunnel from being blocked in the case of a landslide. The station says the repairs from the project should prevent any landslides for years to come.
Fire officials are battling major blazes in 6 states across the southeast: Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee, North and South Carolina, all affected. The impact stretching far past the reach of the flames as the air in the region becomes hazardously thick with smoke. The wildfires are fueled by unusually dry conditions, upwards of 30 large fires, scorching more than 80,000 acres in those states and filling skies across the region with a smoky haze. The blanket of smoke so widespread that it's visible from space, captured in satellite images from NASA. The health impact of poor air quality has been particularly severe in Tennessee, where it's landed more than 200 people in the hospital with breathing difficulties. That is just tough to see.
Oh, it's terrible.
Well, it was just another ordinary day. A mom getting her kids ready, baby on the changing table. Whoa, you saw it there, though. We'll hear from the guy who made that amazing catch.
And friends pitch in to help clean up a Denver woman's car. We'll show you the messages of hate she woke up to.
And once again, a live look at I-25 over the Monument Hill, and looks like the snow is definitely picking up and the visibility is going down, but the road's mainly wet for the most part. Now, we'll keep an eye on things for you, though. If the temperatures drop much, it could start to get a little slippery out there. Dust off those winter driving skills and enjoy this finally first taste of fall.
Oh my gosh.
How long did you go?
We think it maybe
Felt
was
like
around
8 minutes.
Yeah.
Mike. Hand, foot, mouth. Oh, I'm on the standing mon. Welcome back. A heart-stopping moment, all caught on camera. A baby falling off of a changing table, being caught just in time, a happy ending. But it's a reminder of how a split second can change everything. ABC's Mara Scavacampo has more.
This morning, an amazing act of brotherly love caught on camera. Watch as 35-year-old mom of 5, Tita Levy, turns her back for just a moment, leaving 11-month-old Etan on the changing table. First, the baby dangles his leg over the edge, then tumbles over. But the 30-pound infant is miraculously caught by his older brother, Joseph. Watch again. In a split second, the 9-year-old swooping in to make the save.
I just ran and I caught him, but I can't even carry him, so I don't know how that happened.
And it can happen anywhere.
It was something that just happened in less than a second.
And Tila says to anyone, check out this quick-thinking Home Depot employee, a lightning-fast airport security worker, and this Las Vegas dad catching his kid while half asleep.
Joseph keeps saying that when he grows up, he's going to tell him, you know, I saved your life, but he saved his life. It's true.
That was ABC's Mara Scavacampo. Doctors say close to 24,000 children are in accidents involving falls every year.
A transgender woman in Denver says vile words of hate were sprayed on her SUV.
The first thought is shock. You can't believe it.
Amber Timmons says she woke up to find a swastika, a pro-Donald Trump message spray painted on her car. Timmons says she went back inside her house at one point and came back out to find encouraging sticky notes saying things like, "You are loved and I am deeply sorry. Love and peace wins always." One neighbor helped clean the graffiti off her car.
Seeing something like that, not only is it an invasion of your property, but it's an invasion of your soul as well.
Timmons tells our news partners in Denver she thinks it was someone who knew her or at least knew about her, adding she thinks it's a result of the presidential election. There have been several instances of vandalism involving hate speech across the country over the past week. It's an illness which can be highly contagious among children. Now, some parents in a southern Colorado school district are wondering why they weren't told about a case of hand, foot, and mouth disease.
And a live look outside at the snow blanketing the road in the Eisenhower Tunnel, looking east and west right now. Drive safely if you are heading up to the high country. The rest of you in the lower elevation, enjoy.
Sound check, 1, 2, 3. Audio check, test, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Sound check, 1, 2, 3.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3. We are at the courthouse once again. Yeah, I guess that's where 5 was like this morning.
Oh, really?
The opening of the
sound check? I didn't realize
I totally forgot.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
So much stuff going on.
I know.
This time of the grove, everything fucking works.
Yeah,
no one else comes behind
that
me in the
broadband
shot.
thing, the exterior piece fell. Apparently it's missing.
I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
From Southern Colorado's high-definition news leader, this is News Channel 13, where the news comes first.
It is great to have you with us on this Thursday afternoon. I'm John Carroll.
And I'm Dana Clemens. You're watching KRDO News Channel 13 at noon. We're also live on the air on KRDO News Radio. There are a few big stories we're following this afternoon. A judge has ruled that Planned Parenthood shooter suspect Robert Deere remains incompetent to stand trial.
And we'll get to KRDO News Channel 13's Angelica Lombardi. She's live from downtown Colorado Springs with more on that story. And we're finally seeing some cold temperatures, even a little snow here and there. The Springs Rescue Mission is getting ready to open its doors. Scott Harrison is there with a preview of renovations. But first, Storm Tracker 13's Mike Everett is tracking the cold and the potential for more snow. He joins us now, Mike.
Wowee, yeah, when it comes in, it really comes in, John, here. We've got a couple live looks for you. Here's Monument right now near I-25 and Highway 105. Seeing those snowflakes slow down a little bit, but again, we saw some pretty active weather a few moments ago, and we just got a call from a caller, a KRDO viewer, who obviously isn't watching right now, but they're in between Denver and Colorado Springs right now. They say visibility is down to 1 block, and I believe them because we're saying the same thing up on Highway 50. This is Monarch Pass. If you're planning on heading up there, there's a lot of blowing snow up there, 15 degrees and visibility almost zero up there. So again, be very, very careful. Now here's another look right now. Wilkerson Pass, we took a look at this one earlier, but we are starting to see some of those big wet flakes falling and the temperature now getting down below freezing there as well. So we've got those two fronts passing through, and what that's going to do is increase our chances for some of that stuff that is rain right now turning into snow as we go into the evening hours. Here's a live look at your live HD Doppler radar, and we are seeing this move off to the northeast fairly quickly as this first band moves through. We've got the winter storm warnings and the winter weather advisories in effect in the high country, so a lot of folks traveling along 50 and 70, yeah, you're going to be impeded to say the least. 44 is the number at the airport right now, 49 in Pueblo, 44 in Canyon City, seeing some 50s out towards the plains, even 62 in Springfield. I've got some new developments for you as well. We'll talk about that in the full forecast. Winds very firmly coming in from the east right now, 14 miles an hour in the Springs, 10 in Pueblo, 19 in Canyon City, even seeing some big gusts down to the south, which is what we were expecting. Those high wind warnings in effect until 6 p.m. tonight. In fact, we could see those gust up to about 45 miles an hour. And believe it or not, we still have the red flag warnings in effect until 6 o'clock tonight for a lot of our southeastern counties. And really, we're keeping an eye on Los Animas and Baca counties for those big wind gusts until 6 o'clock tonight. And I've got some new developments for you in Baca. We'll talk about that coming up. John and Dana, back to you.
Thank you, Mike. Looking ahead, as the cold gets ready to set in, the Springs Rescue Mission is gearing up to open a new year-round shelter in El Paso County.
KRDO News Channel 13 Scott Harrison is live in downtown Colorado Springs with more on preparations going on today for the doors to open tomorrow. Good afternoon, Scott.
Well, Dana, today's kind of pre-grand opening ceremony that was held here at part of the expansion at the Springs Rescue Mission, it was mainly to thank all the partners who helped make this project happen and to explain and show what's going to be new. Now, we have some video to show you inside what is going to be new when this officially opens tomorrow night. Now, there will be more beds year-round here, a total of 168 full-time beds, and then extra space to add 32 floor mats on the coldest nights for a total capacity of 200. Now, with this additional space, the city believes a separate warming shelter like the one the Salvation Army operated downtown last year is no longer needed. Now, this phase of the expansion project cost about $3.2 million, and there's more coming over the next 2 years. A larger resource center to provide services to the homeless, a new kitchen and dining hall, and a welcome center. Now, the entire project will cost nearly $14 million, and the rescue mission is still trying to raise about a third of that, $3.5 million. So donations are always welcome. Now, tonight we'll have more on what this expansion project means for the city and its homeless community. We're live at the Springs Rescue Mission. Scott Harrison, KRDO News Channel 13.
Thank you, Scott. And some 50 hardy and brave folks are volunteering to sleep outside in the cold weather tonight. Urban Peak of Colorado Springs is trying to bring attention to the issue of youth homelessness. Volunteers sponsor their night out by raising money and taking part in the experience. The goal is to raise $64,000 so they can provide 900 nights of shelter. Volunteers will be out at First United Methodist Church on North Nevada starting at 6 p.m. Nearly 1 year after the Planned Parenthood shooting, the accused gunman Robert Deere was back in court today.
A judge once again ruled Deere incompetent to stand trial. KRDO News Channel 13's Angelica Lombardi was in the courtroom and joins us now with the latest. Good afternoon, Angelica.
Good afternoon, John and Dana. This decision means that Deere will have to be reevaluated every 90 days until he is found competent to stand trial. Our cameras were not allowed inside the courtroom today, but we do have some sketches. If you take a look, you can see that Deere looked noticeably thinner. Upon entering the room, he shouted, quote, 4,000 babies are murdered a day by Planned Parenthood. Also at the hearing, Judge Martinez denied the defense's request to put a gag order on Deere speaking with the media. Deere then shouted, quote, they already don't let me communicate in the hospital. Civil attorneys in this case were also present today, once again asking the judge for discovery to move their case forward. However, Judge Martinez worries that releasing discovery would hurt the criminal case if it goes to trial. He did say, though, he will write up an order to determine what information he will allow to be released. Typically, a criminal case will go to trial before the civil, which is very similar to the Aurora Theater shooting.
In the Holmes case, the discovery was not released by the criminal court until the trial was started, and then they only gave it out after each witness testified. They gave out the reports from that witness to the civil attorneys.
Both Judge Martinez and District Attorney Dan May say that this could take years before this case goes to trial, or it may end up not even going to trial. And of course, all depends on the outcome over the next 90 days. And Deere's new hearing has been set for February 15th at 9 a.m. Reporting live from the El Paso County Courthouse, Angelica Lombardi, KRDO News Channel 13.
Angelica, thank you. The district attorney is hoping you can help bring a fugitive back into custody. They're looking for Hector Ortega Romero. He's wanted on a felony warrant for an attempt to influence a public servant. If you have any information on where he is, call Springs Police at 444-7000. And remember, all suspects are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. As the possibility of ballot question 2B passing becomes more of a reality, many are looking into the next steps for recreational marijuana in Pueblo. The latest election numbers have 2B passing by 51%. If it passes, the clerk's office will begin accepting applications for retail shops in the city. City Council President Steve Naraki says the city will still have to decide on where and how many shops to allow.
My intention as president of the council is not to put it in anybody's face. We're not trying to have it on every corner. The high traffic areas, downtown, certainly I wouldn't be in favor of that.
He also says it could be about 6 months until the first shops are able to open their doors. It's an illness which primarily affects children and is often misunderstood. Now, hand, foot, and mouth disease is at the center of controversy in School District 3 after parents say the district did not tell them a child had it. The girl attends Talbot School and is spending the week at home recovering. Her parents say the disease also has spread to her younger sister. It's a group of viruses that can produce painful blisters in and around the mouth and on hands and feet. It usually passes on its own within a week, but some parents say they should have been notified about the illness.
I do anything that's contagious. We wouldn't get mad or upset about it. We just would want to be prepared for that and prepare our kids.
But it occurs pretty fast and it goes away fast. So it's not one that is reportable by law or that child care centers or schools are mandated to do certain things.
You don't see any reason to change that?
No.
There are 2 more reports of the disease at Talbot, but the district has not confirmed them. Medical experts say the best defense is to make sure your kids wash their hands often, especially after bathroom trips and handling infants in diapers. The illness can be hard for parents to notice. Key symptoms to look out for are fever, loss of appetite, and sore throat. After the fever starts, painful sores can develop in the mouth. Then a skin rash with red spots or blisters may develop on the hands and soles of the feet. There is no cure, but there are ways to treat it. Along with washing hands, clean and disinfect surfaces frequently, including toys. If your child has contracted the illness, keep them hydrated. Over-the-counter medications also help relieve the pain and fever. It could change the way we look at drug addiction. Coming up, we'll have details on a new report from the U.S. Surgeon General.
Right now, a live look at I-25 and Woodman in Colorado Springs. Snow falling there as well, lightly, and roads are wet. We finally get a first taste of fall trying to change into winter.
Roger that.
I am Hector Ortega Romero. They say I have
Okay, drug addiction. Everyone loves written traditions.
Another live look outside right now from Falcon at Highway 24 in Meridian, and they are getting into the act as well. Those winds are blowing. Again, we will be expecting some gusty winds, and that will contribute to some blowing snow that could affect some folks' commute a little bit later this afternoon, courtesy of our friends at the Falcon Fire Department. Great shot right there. America's flag looking good. 44 is your number at the Springs Airport right now, 49 in Pueblo. Even seeing some 50s, and look, 71 in Springfield right now. So the big question is, where is the front? Well, as we zoom in right now, we're seeing that we are pretty much seeing the first part of that passing by right now. Lots of 30s across the northern end of El Paso County, including 34s in Northgate and Briargate, seeing 33 in Peyton, still holding on to 40 at I-25 and Garden of the Gods, and 29 right now in Woodland Park. Now, as we zoom down to the south, still warm, 49 in Pueblo, 53 Colorado City, 48 in Red Creek, 55 Purgatory River, 41 in Aguilar, 41 right now in Walsenburg, and 27 in the La Vida Pass. Here's your live HD Doppler radar, and again, winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories in effect for the central and western part of the state. But as we watch this first band move through here, we're seeing it move off fairly quickly to the northeast. Now, I am expecting another one to move through. Skyscan will help us show that a little bit better here. As we see the first band move through, there's actually going to be a second part of that energy that will move through right around the commute tonight. So we'll continue to keep a close eye on that. Keep it tuned here to KRDO News Channel 13. We'll keep you ahead of this storm. Putting Snow Tracker into motion, it looks like along the Palmer Divide and parts of Teller County, we will see those accumulations here, but again, we're talking about 1 to 2 inches here tops. This is not going to be an accumulating storm, and down towards the south, not really expecting much in the way of accumulation at all. Wind gusts will be a big story, though. Again, those high wind warnings in effect through at least 6 o'clock, especially in parts of Los Animas and in Baca County, and again, could see some gusts up to about 45 miles an hour, and that will create some blowing dust conditions. Even could see some blowing snow in parts of the state where it will continue to snow through the night. Putting SkyCast in motion, a lot of that energy still moving through to the north, but the newest development brings some of that through the area, especially into Baca County around 10 o'clock tonight, and we will continue to see some of that moving through the area even into the later hours tonight, and then after that, this thing's got some wheels on it. It will be gone fairly quickly. In fact, by the time we get to Friday morning, expecting a return of the sunshine, but temperatures will be cold behind that. Overnight lows will be in the 20s in most spots tonight, some teens in Trinidad and Walsenburg, single digits up in the high country, and we don't warm up much on Friday. Look at that, 39 is our high here in the Springs, then a quick recovery. We get back into the 50s and 60s by this weekend, already tracking another chance for some precipitation moving through Monday and Tuesday, and temperatures will cool back into the 50s during the second half of the forecast. Pueblo, 44 is all you get on Friday, and then 13 overnight. Big recovery into the 50s and 60s for the weekend, though, and then those temperatures will pull back into the 50s and 60s next week. Fremont County, 46 for you on Friday, 20 for you overnight, and then back into the 60s into the weekend. And then Teller County, 33 is all you get on Friday, 11 overnight, and then a nice recovery by the time you get to Sunday, 55 degrees. So we're getting all the business out of the way during the week, and then we're going to have a nice weekend.
Party on the weekend.
You got it.
Thanks, Mike.
Sure.
The annual season of Sharing Food Drive kicks off tomorrow morning.
It's a chance for you to make a difference in the lives of 400 families. That's about 2,000 people. Here's how it works. KRDO News Channel 13, KRDO News Radio, and the Salvation Army of El Paso County will collect non-perishable food items at American Furniture Warehouse on Chestnut Street in Colorado Springs. Those donations will be used for Christmas food bags with all the fixins. They also help sustain the food pantry for several months.
The season of sharing food drive starts at 6 tomorrow morning and runs until 6 p.m. Drop your donations at the Chestnut Street American Furniture Warehouse, I-25 in Fillmore. The non-perishable food items will be delivered to the Salvation Army on Yuma Street. And if you'd like to volunteer, call 884-1050.
From Secret Santa to your office Christmas party, everyone loves Christmas traditions.
A favorite for many is the ugly sweater party. This store in Dallas is betting on some big ugly sweater business.
The store sells only the eclectic sweaters specifically for the holiday season, like one featuring a T-Rex with a Santa hat and his very own gift.
And his
Nothing
short
says
little arms.
Christmas
probably
like those short arms.
Yeah, a vest. Probably a vest. It's the latest trend to sweep the nation.
Still ahead, find out who's putting the humans to shame in the mannequin challenge. Not bad. Cool. La Hunter.
Welcome back. Health officials are warning people about the high costs of being taken to the emergency room. Researchers found out of more than 2 million visits to the ER, a fifth of doctors were out of network for the patient. The reason is patients typically don't have time to ask if the hospital is inside their network. Patients have to pay an average of $622 for the trip. Some states already have laws protecting patients from these surprise costs.
A new report from the U.S. Surgeon General calls for a change in the way Americans view drug and alcohol addiction. It details how addiction affects the nation and explains how brain science offers hope for recovery. It's uncertain whether access to addiction treatment will improve or deteriorate when President-elect Donald Trump takes office. Trump and the Republican-led Congress pledged to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, which makes addiction treatment a health benefit.
Here's a live look, our exclusive via wireless camera in La Junta, and we don't see anything falling just yet, but you see the clouds moving in as this storm system moves across Colorado. Ah.
Okay.
Welcome back. Here's what we're working on you for new at 4 o'clock. The real estate boom is helping business in southern Colorado, but also attracting some unwanted scams. We're taking a closer look at another real estate ripoff making its rounds.
Boston, the boxer, is beating out humans on the mannequin challenge.
The Pittsburgh dog follows in the footsteps of celebrities, including Michelle Obama, Blac Chyna, and Paul McCartney, which we showed you last week. The video has been shared more than 40,000 times. The animal's doing it. Gets me every time. I don't get how they're so still.
He is good. Wow. We are finally getting that long-awaited snow, Mike.
I was wondering if you could do that Dorito on the nose thing. That's very impressive. Hey, putting SkyCast into motion here. Here's what I want to show you is the drive between Colorado Springs and Denver will be a mess this afternoon. Blowing snow will be a factor there. This is 2 o'clock here. We're going to put that into motion. This is 4 o'clock. We start to see that move off towards the east, but we're not done yet. By 5 o'clock, we will see another band move through along I-25 in between Colorado and the Springs. And this is 7:30. We start to see a little bit of that movement down toward the south and southeast, and by 9:45 tonight we will be active in Baca County and parts of Prowers County as well. So make sure you keep it tuned here. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Plath will be here keeping you ahead of those storms as we head into the evening hours.
And I know you're a skier. You're
yeah.
loving this. I'm surprised you're able to sit still here.
I'm shaking a little bit.
All right.
Skiing in your mind.
Have a great day.
Thanks for joining us.